This is Deborah Killings, and you're watching We Sound Crazy. They stop it, and I can hear them chattering. She'll say, she sounds nothing like me. I don't like it. She doesn't sound anything like me. And Dallas is like, you hired me to do this. This is my job. I'm producing it. She ain't supposed to sound nothing like you.
Welcome to another week of We Sound Crazy, your official backstage pass to all things music and culture. Your boy Billionaire is in the building.
Claude Kelly is in the building.
What's up? Chuck Harmony is in the building.
What's good? Bacon for Making is here, and I'm excited about it.
You excited?
Yes.
I see some smiles on our faces this week.
My jaws hurt because I'm smiling so good.
Pause.
Music royalty is in the building, though.
Oh, yes.
Music
Goats.
royalty.
Goats.
We got an amazing singer, songwriter, musician, legend.
Yes. From ATL to the world. You feel what I'm saying?
ATL.
The one and only Debra Killings is in the building.
Yeah.
Man.
Thank you guys for having me.
Are you kidding me? This is an honor.
Man.
Right?
Oh, wow.
You see these smiles?
We're just like,
And Deborah, you brought a special guest with you as well.
I did. I brought my son. This is Rex Evans.
Rex
What's up, man?
Evans.
Nice to
Yeah.
meet you.
Happy for you to be here, bro. Pleasure.
For sure.
We're going to talk music because there's a lot of music to talk about.
Yeah.
And what a career.
Well, you know what? It's spanned quite. I've been blessed to have it span. I'd say a few decades.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Absolutely.
You know? So
I'm excited. I'm excited to have you here because I think that people know you, but I want people to really know you.
Yeah.
I think most people have heard me more
Right.
than know me.
Yeah.
So,
Right. We're gonna fix that right now.
Okay.
We're gonna fix that right now.
Let's fix it.
Let's fix it. Let's take it back. Ain't Too Proud to Beg, Phil. Right?
Yes.
Which might have been. I don't want to say it's the first time I was introduced to the sound that is the Atlanta sound, but also the Deborah Killings sound. But
Well, I could say that technically, I think my first like radio worthy, whatever it may have been, was ABC.
Yeah.
another bad creation.
Yeah, they brought me in on ABC because the boys were so young. They didn't know anything about harmony.
Yeah.
So I had to sing. Well, really, technically, I sang all the leads, I sang all the backgrounds, and then they had to sing on top of me to kind of make it.
Yeah.
But
Which is why we say you're the bedrock of an entire sound here, because Atlanta's known for certainly artists, but also a game-changing R&B, hip-hop mixture of things, of which you were, like you just said,
yeah,
what it all was built off of.
yeah, I think it all started like when of creation of Rowdy, and then LA and Babyface moving here, and starting that whole ball rolling here. So
you're born and raised in Atlanta.
no, I was an Army brat. So my dad was in the Army, so we traveled. I was born in Germany,
Oh wow.
but I've lived partially all over the world.
Okay. But at what age were you? At what point did you get to Atlanta and kind of
High
plant
school.
roots? Okay, high school is where you kind of
Yeah.
planted roots here and stayed here.
Yep.
And did you know that it was going to be a music thing for
No,
you?
because at that time, growing up in College Park, where the place to be would be either LA or New York. So no, I had no idea it was going to be as large as it is. Yeah.
What do you remember about just the kind of the burgeoning, like the beginning of this music movement here in Atlanta? Just what do you remember about because at a certain point, because I know I'm from Macon, Georgia. So at a certain point, we started kind of realizing that music could actually be a thing for us when we started kind of riding up 75 and seeing the So Def.
Right. Right.
bulletin.
And even before then,
like
even before then, it was more of a live music scene.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on Peachtree Street, there was a old school club called the San Susie. If you got in there, you you was the band to be. So I used to play in a band back in the day called Princess and Starbreeze.
Okay.
And when we got started, that was the club to get in. So we finally made it there.
So live music was always. I mean, that doesn't surprise me because I mean, Georgia period has just a laundry list of icons that come from here far before the '90s for sure. But so the live music scene was what it was before kind of the label started to.
Yeah, anytime you got into music, the live thing was the first thing you hit.
Right.
Of course, if you truly a musician or a singer, you're gonna go go play at the clubs. You're gonna go play Chitlin Circuit. You're gonna do something.
Yeah.
If you're serious about playing.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
and that's what we did.
What was the meeting that started the session work part of your career?
We got a call from Fenderella, who was Climax.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She gave a call. I think she was having surgery or something, and they needed a female bass player to fill her spot for a second. I think I did maybe 1 or 2 shows with them. And then, she got into producing us, and Dallas Austin, of course, was the backbone of starting me on doing background work for some of everybody. Yeah.
We had Dallas as a guest here not too long ago.
That's my boy.
Man, genius too. Like just the way he was explaining, even with Into Project Beg, putting those songs together, all the different samples. And this is before samples were, what they are now, and with all the legal ramifications and all it was just you throwing things in the pot and making it work.
It's a technique,
right?
And he had his little technique
different.
down. Yeah.
And so to know that all you guys were just in these rooms dreaming it up and so freely. It's cool. Did you know when you were getting involved then that the people you were around and the records you were working on were special, or it was a session work?
I knew they were special. Anything, if you're ever in the room with somebody like Dallas Austin or a genius at work, okay, oh my God,
yeah,
that's gonna be hot.
Yeah.
And I would get calls 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Deb, can you be here at 2? Yeah, 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
I'm ready, because that's when they wake up at 10.
Yeah,
because business is going on during the day. So, but I walk in those sessions and it'd be like, I know that's a hit.
You just knew?
Yeah. And I'd be glad. I'm gonna sing this. Let's go. Or I'm gonna play this.
Because bass player as well as singer.
Yeah.
Well, to be perfectly honest, like when I first started, all my sessions were mostly singing.
Okay.
I would go from, like when it was hot, TLC, Monica, from whoever. When I first got started, those sessions, I would go from one session to another. Like I would do like 2, maybe 3 sessions a day.
Wow.
So nobody knew I played bass. Dallas knew, of course.
Yeah.
I played on several things for him, but Dallas knew I played bass, but nobody else did. So I didn't get as much bass playing work in the beginning, but it kind of evolved.
What do you think was the thing that kind of set you apart from? There were other people in the mix, I'm sure, but you are literally for a lot of records that I listened to growing up, the go-to voice on like I said before, the meat and potatoes. What do you think was the thing that kind of set you apart? Was it something about your gift? Do you think it was something about just the way that people connected with you? Like, what was that thing in your opinion?
I don't know. I could just remember praying to God. I was like, back in the 80s, there was a vocal group called The Waters that did everybody's backgrounds. And I would listen to them. And I'd be like, I was like, God, I can do that. And he must have heard me.
He was like, you can.
He obviously heard me. And it just, Dallas did lights for us when we were like gigging and on the road. So.
Wait, Dallas did lights for y'all?
Oh my God, he was slow as a turtle. It took him forever to get one light up, right? So while we're getting ready for the show, Dallas is still on light number 2. and we would have to help him get it. But needless to say, he was our light technician on the road for a small amount of time because he wasn't good. So, but when he got his first break is when he was like, who do I know to do some background vocals for this female group or this little boys group? Let me call Deborah.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into it.
Wow.
Another Playground, Aisha,
All of that.
And you're like at the begin. You're part of the beginning of so many careers. TLC, Monica, ABC, Tony Braxton, like just OutKast.
Yep.
Like this is literally the start of the craze that is Atlanta music. Like, what do you remember about that time? Like, just what was the energy in Atlanta around then?
The energy was like, let's go, let's get it. Let's get this.
Wow.
And keep it moving. Everybody was just like, the energy was on fire.
Yeah.
It was all about the music. It was, it's just hard to describe it.
Wow.
It was awesome though.
When
It still is.
it still is. I mean,
Depending on what loop you're in, you know.
you were saying at the time that it used to be New York and LA, but now it is all Atlanta.
Yeah.
Like Atlanta is.
Yeah, you
is
got to
the
come through
hub.
here. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks to the success of all those records.
Yeah.
Being a person that writes, sings, plays, a musician's musician, right? As a songwriter, I know there's like a careful dance you do, right? Because the artist has to feel like the artist and has to feel like they're the star and all that. You have to play a lot of politics in there. And you've dealt with a lot of superstars yourself, as well as being one yourself. Was that ever awkward? Because I mean, you're on everything, and
I got a few stories.
Ooh,
I
tell
can-
us.
Do tell.
Oh my God.
do tell.
I think, well, I've got two critical, like, worst stories, like, ever.
I'm curious to know.
Yes.
One is Dallas calls me in. I think it's maybe around about 2:00 in the day. Deborah, I'm doing Madonna. Can you come in and sing this stuff? Okay. He explains it to me, gives me, all the whatever to sing, and he leaves. So I go in the booth because he would give me free reign to do harmony, do whatever, arranging whatever I hear.
Yeah.
He would just give me foundational stuff like, I want you to put this, that. So he leaves. I get almost done with the song. And I don't know if you know old school studios, like the boards.
Yeah.
When the engineer would stop the play, you could hear the studio room. So there was there was a time he stopped it, and then I hear people walk in. Dallas was explaining, so and so. So, Deb, we're gonna listen to this now. So I started listening to it, and then I see Madonna walk in. So they're listening. The music stops. They rewind it. Because, back then it was real.
You have to rewind to actually rewind it. Yes.
So they start bobbing their heads again. And they stop it, and I can hear them chattering. She'll say, she sounds nothing like me. I don't like it. She doesn't sound anything like me. And Dallas was like, you hired me to do this. This is my job. I'm producing it. She ain't supposed to sound nothing like you. Yeah. She's part of my sound. And this is what it's gonna be. Something. And they're just, I don't know if I should be saying this. I didn't sign an what do you call
NDA.
it? I didn't sign one.
So it's free reign. Go ahead.
Yeah. So he was livid. She was livid, but I still was on the song.
She's like, I win.
I win. But I said that to say that I wasn't quite finished with the song. When she left, I was devastated. They put the song, I had a few more notes to sing. I couldn't sing one note on tune. Because she got in my head. I was like, oh my God. So
that's a lesson also for people watching who are musicians, and because studio is there's a psychology of the studio, right?
Yeah.
You can psych yourself out, and you can let people psych you out too.
Definitely.
You know, if they, especially big stars, like Madonna walks in the room,
Yeah.
you gotta be ready. You know what I'm saying? And so you hear people talking like that
Oh my
while
God.
you're in your creative space.
Can you imagine somebody telling you she sounds? I don't like it. She doesn't sound anything like me. What?
Quiet as kept, she needed,
Absolutely.
of all the people that needed some, you know what I'm saying? Like,
We talked about one of your worst sessions. I love to hear about one of your favorite sessions.
Okay. I kind of enjoyed them all, and I treated it kind of like a business. So I wasn't in there to have fun.
Yeah.
I was in there to be like a keyboard without personality. You know, being able to, you know, you could tell me what to do. You know, whatever. But I think the most enjoyable one was going out to do, I think it was one of the TLC records, but they flew me out to LA. Because they were a ball of fun. They were, you know, young, vibrant, silly, quirky. So they would, anytime they were in the room, they would just make it, you know, memorable. Yeah.
you were technically the fourth member of TLC.
Basically.
Because, okay, so I was and am a TLC stan, right? And the thing that I think people now miss is the physical joy of reading credits.
Right.
You know, CDs or
Right.
tapes or vinyl, and you could get to open it up and see what's happening with your favorite record.
Yeah.
So that was for me the moments where I started to fall in love with the business. I love music, but the business of it, and getting to see who was singing what, and I saw them on TV, and like you said, colorful and playful. But I'm like, now what's going on behind what's going on under the hood? And it was always Deborah Killings, Deborah Killings, Deborah Killings, Deborah Killings. And I'm like, oh, that's
I think
why it sounds like that.
I think the only time I did not, a few times I didn't sing on some of those things, and one time was I was pregnant with this one.
So it's your fault.
Yeah,
He's like, hi.
and I could take a trip to Minneapolis. Is that how you say it?
Minneapolis.
Thank you.
Got you.
I think they were working with
Jimmy Jam.
Jimmy Jam and Terry
Terry
Lewis.
Lewis.
yeah.
That's the only time you didn't do a TLC session.
Not the only time, because I think Dallas and somebody else had a beef, and they weren't using who Dallas was using, so they didn't use me.
Got you.
But
Got you.
other than that,
There must be now for TLC, especially because of Left Eye Passing, their releasing got cut short.
Yeah.
But there must be so many TLC songs that you know of that you were on that we never heard.
oh my God,
That were bomb.
a lot, and kind of like some Dallas songs, some other people's songs that people would call me in to
Yeah.
do like demos to try to get on.
Yeah.
TLC stuff.
Yeah.
Some bomb stuff. Yeah,
Dang.
Man.
a lot.
Drop what's in the vault. Drop some songs.
So being around all of the R&B and hip hop that you were around, when you decided to put out your first solo album, it was a gospel album.
It actually wasn't.
It wasn't a gospel album. Surrender wasn't a gospel album?
It was.
Oh,
That wasn't my first
Okay.
intent. That was my first. That was my heart. No doubt.
Yeah.
But when I signed with Rowdy, it was a country record.
Wow.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah, it was a country record. We
You were way ahead of the curve.
yeah. So we went to Nashville. He was 4. You were 4 or 5. Did a whole record. We did a whole record in Nashville with Nashville artists. Yeah, steel guitarists, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened with the record?
Dallas took it to Clive. Clive said, "This ain't gonna work. She black. Country music ain't gonna accept her." And
that was it? Damn. And what year was that? I'm trying to think about how long ago that was, because we're having this country.
Like around
2000, yeah.
1990. You said when?
Man, when was that? You were 4, 5?
8?
Yeah.
1999?
98, 99.
Yeah, because Surrender came out around like 2000, right?
Something.
Yeah,
So here we are now in 2025.
2003.
2003. Okay.
And for lots of reasons, country is having a change and a forced change or necessary change, and letting
An absolute change.
an absolute
Yeah, yeah.
change. And
Yeah.
you see how long that change has been trying to happen.
Oh my God.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Starting with this, I mean, like, people don't realize the history of the efforts to diversify
Absolutely.
what was already ours to begin with, right? I want to hear that album. I do too. I wanna hear
When
the
I
album.
let me tell you, that album truly was ahead of its curve.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
You ever considered going back and in today's climate and maybe dropping that album?
I'm gonna leave that up to Dallas. Dallas, what you gonna do?
Dallas, what you gonna do, Dallas?
What you gonna do, Dallas?
Come on, Dallas. Please.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
I want to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing about Dallas, he was always ahead of the curve. Always.
Yeah.
And you know what Dallas does is, of course, R&B was his niche,
Right.
but he never liked doing R&B. He would listen to everybody, all the offbeat stuff, all the undercurrent,
Yes.
anything, and anything that was vibing. He loves.
I was going to ask you what your influences were, because I mean, clearly you were pulling from different places as well. So what were the artists, bands, musicians that kind of influenced you?
From Mother's Finest to Aretha to Stevie. Yeah, I'm still being cultured, really.
Yeah. It never ends. The education never really ends.
No.
It's
never.
always
So you a
something to
Joyce
learn.
Kennedy fan?
Huh?
Joyce Kennedy from Mother's Finest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Love them.
They also don't get enough attention and love for their Mother's Finest is
Oh, my God.
Crazy.
a wall of sound.
Yes.
Just rock and roll.
The first rock and roll black band that, black folks around here ever knew.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so, okay, so you also said earlier that Dallas would just leave you in the studio to do your own thing. So I didn't know. I thought that it was like, do this, but he was like, you just
Yeah. Well,
be creative.
yeah, that was Dallas. He would, and anybody who's ever dealt with me, by the time it was the relationships and the songs had gone by, they'd be like, okay, I just want harmony here. I want this, I want that. And they find their way out the room somehow,
Yeah.
when
Let
they
you
come
do your
back.
thing.
How long did it usually take you to do, like, somebody leave you with a record to do the backgrounds? Was it like an all day thing? Was it a couple of hours? How long?
A couple of hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a couple of hours because, back in the day, I started even before sampling was sampling. So, I would have to sing all hooks.
All of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, wait a minute. I totally
yeah.
forgot about that. So you
Yeah.
you couldn't just do one chorus and fly it over. People don't understand the technology. Now you can record one chorus
That's
and then
hard work.
copy that.
Yeah.
Copy and
Exactly.
paste, basically. But you're doing every single chorus.
Every single note. So, and back then, I think I was doing maybe 4 or 5. I think they would just pan one heart, all the way this way, 2 here, and then 1 in the center, something like that. So it'd be 5 altos, 5 sopranos, 5
tenors.
tenors. So, yeah.
Sometimes
So that
bass.
means every chorus.
Sometimes
bass.
Sometimes bass. Were you ever starstruck? Because you work with legends.
Yes, I was starstruck.
Who?
Stevie Nicks.
Wow.
Yeah. Dallas worked with Stevie.
I can see that. Stevie Nicks is like,
Yeah. That's
Fleetwood
legendary.
Mac is-
Yes.
yeah, they're
So-
iconic.
Yeah.
And starstruck for you means that you're like just nervous at the beginning or just frozen.
Well, I was nervous to meet Madonna, but she bust that bubble.
Man.
And so Stevie Nicks, I walked in to Dart. Have you ever been in the Dart? So walked in, made that left through that door, and go through the kitchen, and there she is sitting. And said, she was like, "It's a privilege to meet you. I'm so glad to meet you. I heard you're going to be singing on the song." Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
And the rest is history.
History.
I got to ask you about OutKast because you're, again, a part of a lot of those early records. I mean, every time I hear Jazzy Bell and I hear the all of that, what do you remember about just the beginnings of OutKast and just doing those early records?
The beginning is, I can remember where did I first, I'm trying to remember which studio I first met him in. Mm-hmm. Because I know it wasn't Dart. Mm-hmm. I know it wasn't the Dungeon, because I didn't go to, it was, what's the name of the studio off of Piedmont? What used to be?
I'm like, Chuck, you know?
I don't know.
Not Musiplex.
Musiplex.
See, Dustin. Musiplex, and then there was where they do all the commercials.
You know?
No, I don't.
Yeah, you know it.
She's like, you know.
Used to be.
Smart.
Man, I can't remember. I cannot believe I forgot this. But however, that's where like my first sessions were with them. Mm. And then we moved to like Rico Wade's, back behind his house, back in the cave.
Yeah.
Some of those early memories are just like, walk in the studio, of course, the traditional smoked the clouds.
A little cloudy.
Yes. And Bosstown, I can remember walking in, pregnant again, big, making them put all that stuff out. Y'all put that stuff out. You can't be around that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Those early albums, I've heard Monica say almost every interview that her first album is still her favorite album. And for good reason. I mean, it's my favorite album by Monica as well. And I mean, listen, she has a storied, amazing career now, for sure. Mm-hmm. But there's something about the sauce on that first album, which of course has a lot to do with you, but it's way beyond her years. How old is she? 12, 13 when she was recording that album?
And she had to redo all of those songs. And in that process, some got lost, some were, some didn't make it, some made it. Mm-hmm. So she actually had to do her first record probably twice.
The whole album?
Because her voice changed during that process.
Which means you had to do the whole album again twice?
I probably didn't. But they would just call me in to do other songs.
Yeah. But I mean, same thing with TLC. Like, I mean, to me, the first two albums, what it did for developing a sound and a style are their best albums because of the sound of it. And again, the credits and finding out why it sounded the way it did and what was really T-Boz and Chili vocally and what was really Debra Killings.
Well, they did their vocals.
Okay.
They did their vocals. I'm primarily on just mostly backs.
On TLC.
Yeah.
Wow, that's the fourth member.
Right.
That's TLCD.
TLCD for sure.
So, Deborah, I have to ask you, you've worked with a lot of great collaborators over the years. Who would you say is your top five producers that you've collaborated with? Your favorites. And not even maybe you've worked with them, or maybe you wanted to work with them, but your favorite producers, top five.
Okay. Dallas. Mm-hmm. LA. Mm-hmm. Babyface. LA Babyface.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Rodney Jerkins.
Yeah.
How many more I got?
Two.
Sleepy Rico. Of course. I've worked with several.
Anybody that you wanted to work with but never had the pleasure?
Almost everybody that was hot. I've had the privilege to work with, so.
That is a career. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like when you can say, I've done it all, darling. I've done it all. I've worked with the best. There's no one on my list. is an account. And when we say we're glad you're here, is that also, you know, when you see things, right? When you see people, it makes the possibilities real, right?
Yeah.
And there is a whole generation of songwriters, singers, musicians that saw your name, may not have seen your face all the time, but wanted to do this because of what you were doing, myself included. And I'm gonna tell you a personal story. My first trip I'm from New York. My first trip to Atlanta as a songwriter. My first trip to Atlanta before. Second one I met you. But the first one was to work with Divine Stevens' girl group. It was a group he was working with at the time. And they never came out, but they were fantastic. And shout out to Divine Stevens, because he took a chance on me.
Yeah.
And I locked in the studio for like a week and wrote all these songs and vocal produced. And my whole thing was I gotta impress him. It's gotta be as good as what Deborah was doing, right? At the end of the week, he goes, "Thank you so much, man. Like you're really talented. Is there anything I can do for you?" And I was like, "I just want to meet T-Boz and Debra Killings." I told him that. And you don't even know this because I was literally nobody. And I don't know where you were somewhere, maybe not in town, but he called you on the phone and passed the phone. Oh my God. And I was like, "Oh, Miss oh, Miss Killings, it is an honor to speak on the phone with you." And you were so kind. You were like, "You're doing what you're doing. Divine speaks so highly of you. And, you know, just keep going, just keep working hard." Like, it was just nothing but positive encouragement. And when you're, and you know this, when you're coming up, those little pats on the back, those little pushes forward make a big difference.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
More than the negative.
Yeah, because most of the time you're always second guessing yourself. And am I crazy? Music is that the whole time. Like, am I crazy? Am I doing? And I never forget that I came back from Atlanta with a battery in my back. I was like, he also took me to meet T-Boz. It was like, he made my dreams come true. And I was like, yo, you can't tell me shit. Like, I Killings on the phone. I done met T-Boz. I didn't work with this group. And it was a turning point for me. Because it was like, besides the people in your circle that are telling you you're dope that might be lying because they're your friends, someone that you respect giving you that love. And so you don't even know this, but you blessed so many people, including myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
So thank you.
That's awesome.
But also, especially for women in this business, who, the engineers, the musicians, the singers, the vocal arrangers, all that stuff. There's just not, there are many, they don't get the love, but they also don't make it a big deal of, our industry doesn't make a big deal of the fact that women behind the scenes are as important as some of the women that you see in front of the scenes. And just talking to you reminds me of Mariah Carey, it reminds me of Patrice Rushen, it reminds me of Missy Elliott, people like that, and many, many more. Esther Dean, people like that. I've talked to Esther about you many times and how we were all inspired by you. But it just goes a long way, farther than you probably realize. But all the flowers need to be given.
Wow.
All the flowers need to be given.
That's awesome.
To Claude's point, as I was preparing for this, right, I'm listening down through all of the records, just, you know, doing my research, stuff that I've paid attention to everything that you've done all my life. But the word that just kept jumping out at me was reliability. And I'm like, there's no way that people would continue to call on this young lady if she wasn't reliable. Can you speak to people that might be watching this, that might be trying to figure out, okay, how can I set myself apart? How can I get in good with someone and have them continue to want to work with me? Because that's the thing that kind of beyond what, because your talent is what it is, your gift is what it is, but it's like, okay, people wouldn't want to work with you if they didn't feel like you were reliable, that you would show up and do what you needed to do. So can you just kind of speak to that and why you feel like people continue to want to work with you?
Well, that's the one thing I truly base my whole life on, is to be reliable. There for my family, there for whoever. Yeah. But I treated it kind of like a business. When I went to those sessions, I'm not a smoker, but if I were a smoker, I would never sit down and smoke with you if you called me in for a session. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's a part of my business. This is what I'm doing. This is what I do kind of for a living. So, and I would come in and be as pliable as I possibly could. So if they said, I just want you, I had a session once with LaFace. It was on a Toni Braxton song. All they wanted me to do was air. So sad, so sad. You know, just air.
Another sad
Still
love
love
song.
song?
Yes.
First of all, don't just so sad on us like that.
I was like, wait, I know that.
Yes.
Right? I'm like,
Because it makes so much sense. Wow.
So
that's crazy.
yeah. So you have to be, when you go to these sessions, you have to be absolutely pliable. No attitudes.
Yeah.
Because, you know, their attitudes are big enough.
Yeah.
So you have to conform
Yes.
and do exactly what they want you to do.
Egoless. You have to be egoless.
That's good.
Yeah.
I have to ask you, as her son, when did you realize, like, yo, my mom is like
Dope.
and a legend out here? Like, she's literally holding the Atlanta music period on her back.
It's crazy because when you grow up with it, it's not something that you even think is. You just think that's what the life is, you know.
Yeah.
But so it's something you always know, but I never really got to. I've always known it. I don't know how to explain it. So
I know.
It's not a realization, is what I'm saying.
I remember going in a session one time. It might have been for a Monica song, and he was in my belly. And as soon as they turned on the music, oh my God, he started churning and jumping. So,
Cause y'all, I mean, also you have to understand she's amazing at everything she does. Like she sets a standard. Like there's a bar. Like we have we grew up with classic cars at the house. They would always get. I think even Dallas gifted one to her, a '68 Camaro.
They're not gifting classic cars anymore. I'll tell you that much.
And, it's funny. She would go out there and rewire a whole car or show me how to like wire a car.
Wait, you were rewiring the car?
Man, what?
Let's
So
go.
there's like we have like a '62 Impala was my first car. It was an older. It had a lot of work, but yeah, her hands are all over that car.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
and I can't
From
live it.
top to
I can't
bottom.
live that kind of thing down. Even though I don't get under the hood as much as I used to.
so you guys are asking me like, when do you realize your mom was? I mean, she
was always-
You know, like we
yeah,
were
yeah,
always
yeah.
doing everything. Oh, the hardwood floors. Oh yeah, come on.
You don't play.
Amazing woman, man. Like sets the bar.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
for sure.
Wow.
Just to give you guys some perspective.
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
Deborah Killings, you know, it's not just
Yeah.
the Deborah
Yeah.
Killings.
So Rex, you're doing music now as well? Like,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I produced, engineer, sing, songwrite, just a Swiss Army knife. I just knew I wanted to do music. And like she said, being pliable was a big part for me. So it's not something that she taught me. It's just something that kind of stuck to me. So I've kind of worked with a lot of underground artists like Flau'jae. So I did her first mixtape.
Yeah.
Her and her mom came to the studio in East Point. We set up some stuff in East Point and worked with her, some love and hip hop people like Chaotic from Miami. Some bunch of random artists. I've even worked with Dallas, Rico Wade, and Sleepy. Have been to the house. So I've done a few things.
You said Swiss Army knife is the best way to
That
describe
is.
it.
That is
so
awesome.
I've done a little bit
You
of
do a little bit of
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
And clearly it runs in the families.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like I said, seeing it growing up, you just emulate. You just think that's what life is. So you just.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned from your mom?
It's one I'm still learning, but like she said, reliability and consistency. She's very reliable and consistent, and it's something that I've been trying to emulate. But look, reliability and consistent is a huge talent that people underestimate.
Yeah.
It's almost the most valuable thing.
Oh, yeah.
over
Oh, yeah.
everything. Availability is the best ability. You know what I'm saying? So being able to be there and show up is like a big thing.
As a musician, what's your top 4 Deborah Killings songs?
So
Is the one Dallas did?
yes.
Oh, Message in the Music.
Messaging.
Yeah.
That's number one.
The
That's
music.
that's number one on the album.
the
right?
first song on the album.
Yep.
Yes, that one. Like I don't know what it is about that song.
And
Surrender.
Candy Burst helped write that one.
See?
Okay.
Shout out Candy. She was also a guest here. That's what I'm talking about. Candy.
Yeah.
There's all these women, especially from Atlanta, that just run things.
Yeah.
And have their hand in everything. That's another example. You know what I mean?
It's just real quiet.
Yeah.
Let's see, what other songs? There's just the whole Surrender album to me holds a special place just because it kind of shaped a lot for me, because that was when she was on tour. I kind of got to see a lot of different things. I got to see the recording process. I got to see Alvin Spikes at the house mixing it down. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out Alvin Spikes.
So like stuff like that, like seeing that at the house, like just seeing the whole process and seeing like how a entire record is made top to bottom. Like, you know, being in the studio is fun, but you only get to see bits and pieces.
Yes.
And like, not only that, you running around the studio. I'm young. It's like a bunch of toys to me. So it's like, you know, you're just kind of bouncing around. But like, as I got older, that album kind of shaped a lot because I got to see. And she was hands-on with everything on that album as well. Just seeing that was everything on that album. I can't even separate them. But messaging and music for sure, number one. But that entire album showed me a lot.
Let's talk about that album, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gospel music is like kind of the core for so much of American music, right? What made you decide to do a gospel album, first of all? And I also want to hear your thoughts on how what that process was like for you.
I got born again back, I forget when it was. It's been so long ago, but and I just made a conscious decision, like, I wasn't gonna get on stage and undress in front of nobody. So I just wanted to sing and
Followed
give
your
him
heart.
glory. Yeah.
Yeah.
What influenced the sound of the album?
Music Soul Child. I loved his vibe. I loved several things. Stevie from you know, just all the influences that have musically influenced me in the past.
Yeah. Okay.
And then, you know, Dallas came up with that. And we were down in Miami. We did a couple of songs, three or four songs down in Miami with Candace. So, and that was one of them that stuck.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was different about the gospel world, like putting music out as a gospel versus, you know, dealing with things on the R&B side, the pop side? Did you feel a difference in the business, in the reception, or the people? Nothing at all.
As a matter of fact, I probably felt more receptiveness from hip hop and R&B than I did on the gospel side.
Interesting.
Because, you know, they had their standards.
Yeah.
And me coming in with holy jeans, you know.
Again, ahead of your time. Way ahead of your time.
Going into church with holy jeans. I can remember going on tour, that tour you were talking about. And they went to, Deborah, in here you got to wear a dress. What? I don't own a dress. I don't own a dress. Wow. So I would go, you know, and some of them would. They would be looking at me like side-eyed, but you know, hey, when it comes to like ministry or anything in that nature, Jesus was rejected too. So who am I?
Right. Yeah.
So I don't fault them for that. That's just their standard at the time. But yeah, since that record came out, the whole industry has shifted. The sound of it, the culture of it. You know what I'm saying? They're not holding people in a box, in a pigeonhole. Like, no, you got to sound like this. You got to sing like this. You got to dress like this. You know. So yeah, the whole industry as a whole has shifted.
Definitely has shifted.
You still have some quote unquote, they try to think of themselves
You do?
as gatekeepers though, that try to, and it's just,
absolutely.
it's
Who are
silly.
those people, Tamal?
I feel
Speak on it,
I think you know a lot of them. A few of them.
Phil?
But it's just,
Was anyone nice? Like, does anyone stand out that was like, I met this person when I released Surrender, and they were really nice and pleasant. They
Yes.
loved on me. They prayed for me.
Byron Cage.
Byron Cage.
Yes, he like at the end of the tour. He gifted everybody on the tour with gifts. Wow. So yeah, and he was encouraging. Well, actually, everybody that was on the tour was awesome. It was Byron Cage, Tone. Man, I can't even
That was
think of
during
it.
your Verity days.
Verity.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, but hey, he was very encouraging to me.
That's good.
That is good.
But it's sad also that only Byron Cage and Tone were the nice people.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that.
No, it's unfortunate, and I say this, and I won't put the artist on blast, but there's a massive mainstream artist that came to the Stellar Awards years ago, and they told me how rude all of the gospel artists were, with the exception of Andre Crouch and Shirley Caesar. Said they were the two nicest people. Everyone else, I mean,
I've experienced that.
They said one gospel artist even questioned their ability to sing gospel music because they weren't considered holy enough.
Oh my God. That in itself was exactly what I experienced. I didn't come from the church. I didn't grow up in the church. So, and then, I got a whiff of what this one person said, and it kind of shifted my whole outlook. She can't sing gospel.
That's so annoying.
Yeah.
Because it's so literally against everything that Christianity is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Correct.
Exactly.
So it's like the gatekeepers can be the people that are actually hurting their own cause.
Of course. Most of the people aren't in the church.
Yeah.
Right.
They're not coming to a church.
Yeah.
They're on the Shade Room Church now.
Right. But I do think that's why current day you have a lot of people that resist going to church on Sundays. We often hear stories about, the church is suffering and people not, people not bringing in the money in the church like they used to. It's because of those negative seeds that were sown 25, 30 years ago.
Church hurt.
And then as a result, gospel music, the numbers in gospel music and Christian music aren't at the level that they once were, because you now have things like social media where people can immediately go on social media and say, yo, this is what happened to me going to this Christian award show and it didn't feel good.
And the music's
on
not
blast.
good though.
That
A
too.
lot of the music's not good to
That
me,
too.
my opinion.
Yeah.
We say?
That
I
too.
said a lot of the music, a lot of the gospel and Christian music is not good to me.
Agreed. Agreed.
Doesn't inspire me, doesn't make me feel like, just feels very contrived.
Yeah.
How do y'all feel about gospel music right now? I'm just curious to know.
Some of it moves me. And it depends on the type of mood I'm in too. Do I want to be moved? So I don't know. Like some of the contemporary Christian stuff that's happening now. Like I love it. I play it every Sunday.
CCM has definitely kind of, I don't want to say taken over because gospel can't be taken over, right? It's an art form, but CCM has definitely become more popular. And also because it embraces a come as you are mentality. Like, you can come in what you're wearing with, with however you are, kind of off the street for what it's worth and make it happen. What about you? How do you feel about gospel?
I'm really unaware of the last maybe like 10 years of gospel music that's been released. It's either like really old or the very new that I'm listening to. Shout out to like Jay Newton. I think he just dropped a friend of industry guy. But a lot of people are transitioning into like Christian music, but I think we missed the last 10, 15 years for sure.
That's a lot of people though.
That is.
Yeah,
a lot of
absolutely.
people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you ever go back now just on a random day and listen to records you're on and just be like, yeah, I did that?
You know what I do? Most of the time is like I would hear something. I was like, "Oh, is that me?"
It is.
Most of them. I don't even. I remember,
Yeah.
but I have to hear it in
Right.
order to say, "Okay, ooh, I sang on that."
That's crazy.
I'm gonna tell you the song that wasn't a single that to me it's just a Deborah Killings song. Yeah. It's on TLC's second album.
I know what you're about to say.
It's Take Our Time.
Track 12.
I helped write that.
I know. And first of all, I love that song. It's the best Chili has ever sounded on a record.
Yes.
Well, and it was.
Speak on it.
Yeah, you supposed to say
Speak on
something.
it.
Do your thing.
I'm good.
I think it was originally her song.
Is that what it was? Is that really?
No,
What?
No?
Tell us.
it was their song, but I kind of demoed it. I demoed it.
Yeah.
Okay. And basically what we hear is close to the demo is what you're trying to say.
Not really.
Oh.
I won't say that.
Well,
I plead the fifth.
all that to say that it was a standout record on the album.
Yes, it was.
Sound wise, soul wise. This is my joint.
This is after the pass me a piece of tissue so I can
Right.
write my ass interlude. Yeah.
I kind of want to hear your demo.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of helped her produce those
Vocal
vocals.
produced it.
Yeah.
I can tell.
So
I can tell.
Timon, are you still blocked by Chili?
That was years ago. I don't even think I probably
Let's
blocked.
look now.
I probably blocked her back.
Yeah, let's check.
I don't
In
even
the
have,
moment.
I don't even have my Twitter anymore.
You don't?
No.
Oh, she blocked you
wow.
on Twitter?
Yeah, it was years ago. I called her Rosanda.
And she
And
blocked you for that?
the Chili stands got me in the comments. They was just like, you don't call her Rosanda, you call her Chili. And I was just like,
wow.
I was just bigging you up because I love, but
And she blocked you?
yeah. And I think
was like, "No,
I probably
I
blocked her
don't
back.
want your
But
number."
I still love Chili.
I want to give you mine.
Dang, she was upset. She was like, she's like, you don't know me. Don't call me Rosanda. Call me Chili. I was like, dang.
oh my gosh.
Oh, Lord.
Wow, that was harsh.
Oh.
But I hope to still meet her in person though.
We had to fly out right after I think like 9/11. Fly out to LA to do. I can't remember which album or which song, but we're there. She calls me, Deborah, you gotta go to dinner with me. I can't go to dinner with something. I gotta have somebody with me. I said, okay, I'll go. So said they're gonna be downstairs to pick us up at maybe 6. So we get downstairs and there's these guys. Jerry curls, shirts button up all the way to the top, the low rider pants, khaki pants, whatever. Open the door to a limo. We get in, get to the restaurant, and it's we walk up to the table, and it's Suge.
Yeah.
To meet Chili? Whoa.
So we go to dinner. We had the dinner. So, you're the little vocalist, huh? Sing something for me.
Wait, hold on. Shook and I saying this to you?
Yes. We
On
sing
the
it
spot?
together. Yeah. And I'm sitting there. I was looking at Chili like, what?
So did you sing
No.
on the spot? That's so crazy because,
Deborah kept her mouth closed.
because then later on, Left Eye ends up signed or associated with
Death
Suge
Row.
Knight.
Death Row.
I wanted to get your fond memories of Left Eye, because obviously there's of course that which we know because it was public, but you spent a lot of time with Left Eye in the studio.
Yeah. I
Personal
know.
time.
I think like of course, all the fire.
Of course.
Meeting Andre Rison in the studio, or we did sessions for the Nova record in Hateville. There was a studio in Hateville. I think that's probably my most notable recollection of her, because she was like, I don't care how you do it. Shoot, you're the fourth member of TLC. You gonna sing on all my stuff. You come on in here. So
And you just did your thing. She was special.
she was.
I love that they
And she was,
validated you in
when
that
I
way.
tell you, she grounded.
Yeah.
And she, off the cuff, she wouldn't take nothing.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite TLC project? Like, you are on all of them. Do you have like one that you feel like you listen to more than the others?
I think the most notable one is the first one because
Ooh, on the
of that
TLC
first,
tip.
because of the experience, and the huge success of it. Yeah.
What do you listen to?
Right,
In
I
your
was-
spare time, like when you're at home or in the car, what do you listen to musically, or who do you listen to?
Mostly old school R&B
Really?
and, contemporary Christian because, I'm having to continually learn songs and still in that market.
So if we were to go through your phone right now, like what songs would we?
It'd be Pandora's Stevie Wonder Radio.
Pandora, Stevie Wonder Radio. That's a good place to be living.
Yeah.
That's
it.
exactly what she gonna play.
Because Stevie Wonder is the GOAT of all GOATs.
Yep. Love it.
Speaking of that, I was just telling Chuck this. I just found out, and I gotta find the clip, but Stevie Wonder's band, Wonder Love, were supposed to put an album out.
What?
I know, and that something happened when they didn't. But they had performed at the Grammys back then as Wonder Love, and then like to present them, and then I guess the album never came out. But Stevie Wonder is so big that you almost can't wrap your head around how much of a GOAT he is. He's just changed it. To me, he's the most important American musician maybe ever.
Yeah, I agree. Vocalist and musician.
Songwriter,
too.
all of it, just
Historian.
I can't fight against you.
you know what I mean? Like
He's history.
history, you're talking about like songs that like Happy Birthday and things like that that changed culture is just pretty big deal. Stephen Morris, if you will.
Stephen Morris.
Stephen Morris, if you will. Before we started filming, we were talking just right before we started about the fact that hip hop gets a lot of love, documentary wise, like the history of hip hop, how it began. Of course, there's the anniversaries and stuff like that. Soul music, R&B music, and gospel as well don't get as much as I think hip hop does, and that's part of why We Sound Crazy exists. Yeah. Who are some people that you wish had a documentary?
People like you guys are recognizing behind the scene people, as well as those who've culturally moved the nation and the world as we see it. Maybe y'all stories need to be told.
I agree. I agree.
I mean, y'all are constantly presenting, people like me and, whoever. Yeah, maybe y'all's.
Well, we're happy to be sharing yours because we want people to know and see where the music comes from and what the inspiration was. Because I know when you watch and listen to music now, you hear, of course, they're sampling all the records that you're on as well, but you see and hear the influence in the fashion, in the recording style, all that stuff. Like there's a lot of Monica, a lot of TLC, a lot of all that stuff, and not a lot in what's happening right now. Of course, there's a resurgence of '90s music as well. Yeah, but the music lives on.
Yeah, never ending.
I gotta ask because I feel like we haven't really touched on the fact that you are an acclaimed bass guitarist.
Yes,
so
please.
At what point in your life, as a youngin', did you kind of like what prompted you to pick up the bass guitar?
I was probably in elementary school. My brother started playing guitar, and then he started everything he did. I wanted to do. If he got out and started throwing a football or climbing a tree, I was right behind him. He couldn't do nothing for me. So he started playing guitar, and he got good enough to where he could go on the road with this old school gospel quartet.
Yeah.
So, and I would cry because I couldn't go. I was like, you know what? I'm going to find my way in. Let me play bass. He playing guitar, so he already got that down. I said, Mama, I want a bass. And so eventually maybe a couple of years later, she got me a guitar, and it upset me so bad. I was like, this is a guitar. I wanted a bass. So I ripped 2 of the strings off, and I started playing it. I'm sorry, I went on a rabbit hole. I forgot what you asked.
No, that's about how you got into playing bass, and that's it.
That's it.
So you've traveled all around the world, like you played with OutKast, and like how did you go from being known as a session singer, and then these people are now asking you to come on board and play for them?
I think it was they kind of intertwined at some point. But always Dallas knew I played. Yeah. So I was playing on Unpretty. I was playing on different songs for him and different artists. I played on I think like a Boys to Men record that Dallas had done before. So I've always played. Rico and those didn't know that I played.
Yeah.
A few of the other bass players that they had playing, especially big, before me were really awesome bass players, but they never knew I played because most of the time I didn't have time to play.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because if you listen to a lot of like the early Atlanta hip hop, I've always felt like what set it apart from other regions was that there was this funkiness to it.
Oh yeah,
Live
Yeah.
musicians.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just that's what made it to me that it kind of
Yeah.
it cut through because of that. Yeah.
And that was one of the set 'em aparts
Yeah.
that the Outcast
Yes.
thing had, and the Goody Mob and the all of that. They had live musicians on this stuff, so it wasn't just samples or anything like that. Yeah, they would. It was. It's a privilege to even be a part of the history of it.
And are you mentoring people?
I try to. I try to.
Is Mom a good mentor?
For sure.
Yeah.
Great mentor.
I try to keep him in line.
Yeah.
She said, "Try."
Try.
The music
That's
is an interesting place right now.
It's different.
It's a different place. It's celebrity's a different thing right now. People are celebrating people. I think talent is coming back around right now.
Yeah.
But not to get too deep into it, but I feel like she's a great mentor.
I mean, when it's right there, I mean,
Yeah.
the source of so much knowledge is right there. You don't have to look outside. Right?
And she is quick as a whip, especially with music, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
So she'll tell you if it's whack.
I don't think she has. I think she's a free spirit. I don't think she'll be like that's. I think she'll tell me that's not it.
I
But
won't
think,
tell you that's not it. I'll tell you. Look, you need to take that bass line. That bass line is kind of off tune. Can you pitch that note? Because that's wrong.
Musical things.
Yeah, because she understands sometimes the music is, like you said, is being crazy. So she will never be like a limit, put a limit on it, but she'll definitely try to fine tune you.
How often are you hitting the studio these days, Deborah?
Not as often. And that's probably by choice.
By choice?
Yeah. I'm kind of semi-retired.
No!
Yeah.
We need you back.
Hey.
Are you? Is it why? Is you just burnt out, tired of? Or you done it all? Or are you just?
It's just a new generation. New generation.
Because I was going to ask when the next Deborah Killings album was coming out. Surrender Part 2.
We're going to get her back out here.
You want your mom to come out of semi-retirement?
I come out to play behind him.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
That's what I do.
Okay. I would love another album. Just saying.
Yeah.
From a fan. No big deal. No pressure.
Well, you know what? I got plenty in the vault. I don't know.
We gonna release that country album.
That's what I'm saying.
I got all the hard drives at the house.
You got all the hard drives.
I've been going through them and sample stuff and take certain things. Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's very. It's
The country album, I think. I want. First of all, I want to hear lots of demos, but I think the country album, I want to hear that for sure.
Yes.
Me too. I didn't even.
You didn't know?
No.
You were there.
I don't know.
You weren't young. You were too young.
Cause just to see where it's at right now, and I'll give you an example. Like Money Long right now, who is killing, right? Songwriter first, artist always, but gotten through songwriting, and now of course is Money Long and doing her thing. I remember we all live in Nashville, but I remember when Money Long was in Nashville doing country. She's talked publicly about how difficult Nashville was for her and the country world. And if more people knew that you had been doing that album exists.
Yeah.
It might break down some doors more easily. It might encourage more people to get out there and do it, because those gatekeepers, those genre gatekeepers, keep a lot of people from getting their dreams out, because they tell you, like you said about gospel too, like you don't belong here because you're black or because you're a woman or all that stuff. And it's unfortunate because it cuts off so much good music before it gets out there. So I'm gonna hit you up for the country album. We're gonna talk.
I'm gonna go ahead and get it all ready.
Yes, please do.
We sound crazy. Esther Roll.
Award.
But it's time for the Irby, y'all.
So I will say, I know a few episodes back, we voted
Yes.
and we crowned Miss Debra Killings.
We did.
We did.
A winner
Yeah.
of the Esther Roll Black.
I told you, we talk about you all the time over
Oh
here.
my gosh.
So we actually going to do something different. We actually have her award physically with us.
Yes!
And so we want to give it to you in person.
Yeah,
Oh my
man.
God.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We can celebrate you. We honor you.
Yes.
This is awesome.
Because you are a legend,
A legend.
A
in
goat.
this thing.
Yes.
Wow.
Literally, there have only been, how many of these awards have we given out?
There's not many.
Not many.
many.
Yeah, this-
Now,
What?
this is rare. This is rare.
yeah.
Because you literally are an inspiration. You are one of our original dream guests, and you have changed all of our lives for the better with your music.
Yes.
But funny enough, Dallas has one. It's a very elite club.
Dallas
Wow.
and Candy.
And Candy.
yeah.
Dallas Candy.
Dallas,
and
Candy, and Deborah are the three recipients now, and that's perfect.
That's
in my
perfect.
book.
It is.
Yes.
So thank you.
Thank
we
you.
just wanted to honor and celebrate you today.
Yeah.
Man, I appreciate it.
100%. Ain't no vote this week.
Ain't no vote.
Ain't no vote.
The vote has been.
The vote has been decided. You know what I'm saying? The vote has
No,
been
but
decided.
for real, like hearing you and reading your name in those credits down through the years, like for me, you're part of that Georgia legacy that helped me realize that a career in music was possible. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Me too.
Same.
Wow.
like I said at the
Same.
beginning, it is truly an honor to even get to talk to you today, for real.
Yes. And I hope people who are watching this go back and not only go back and listen to all the records, your records, the records you're on, but this is also an encouragement to credits matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They matter. You have to know who's involved. It's not just the person who's on the cover or on the music video, or there is a village
A village behind.
Yeah.
behind, right? Of geniuses that make the music sound and feel the way it does, that goes around the world. And this is a perfect example of that. And look at this legacy. This is the other
Yes.
part, is that
Yeah.
the legacy is here.
Yep.
The legacy is.
The
in
legacy
building.
is here.
So okay, so Deborah, Rex, I got a situation. So I'm working on my album, right?
Oh my God. Here we go.
I really am vocally challenged. So I want you to, Deborah, like, do me like ABC. I need you to sing it down. And Rex on the production, I really want to, I'm thinking like Thriller. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mike Jack.
voices,
Mike
you know
Jack.
what I'm saying? Mike Jack.
Okay.
Mike Jack.
Mike Jack.
So,
I love Mike
Okay.
Jack.
I'm working on it, but again, so auto-tune is going to be a plus.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So we'll talk off camera.
Yo,
We
yo,
got you.
Yeah.
For the
We
first
got you.
time, you actually pitched to the right people.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, we-
Because they're going to
gosh.
get you right.
Yeah.
They're going to get
Yes.
you right.
I feel like we got enough of you talking. We can just put it in the AI. We can have you singing in no time. You ain't even got to touch the studio. For real.
Phil, you
Hey,
good.
it's coming soon. It's coming soon. Filler's coming soon.
Fillers. Fillers by Phil. I love this.
Make sure you follow us on all platforms at We Sound Crazy and WeSoundCrazy.com.
And shout out to our good partners at Visit Music City. Thank you so much for your support.
Oh, yes.
Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Rex.
Thank you,
Until
guys.
next week, We Sound Crazy. We out here, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
We sound crazy.